So here's a neat little trick to extend a line, or an arc in this case, by a distance. So the example I have here is I have a line and it's 7142 in length, and I want to make it at exactly 70, let's say, or I want to make it exactly 71. So I'm going to use the trim extend command, and I want to shorten it because the length is 7142, and I've already forgotten exactly what that number was. And what I'm going to show you here is the actual trick of how to do this. So I'm going to trim it because I want to shorten it. So I'm going to go to the horizontal distance. So the distance that I want to shorten it is a certain value, right? It can be a percentage or whatever. But if you hold your shift key down, this is the trick. You got your focus in the horizontal distance. I hold the shift key down and I left click on that line. It puts the distance of that segment in this field. So if I want to shorten it, I'm going to put in what I want to shorten it to, which is, in this case, let's say 70. So I'm going to hit tab and it actually calculates that distance. Now all I have to do is pick the end of the line that I want to trim or extend. So if I come over here and pick the end of this line, it shortens it, and you can see it was shortened by it tells me it was shortened by 1.421. And if I put my focus back in here and I left click, shift left click on this again, you can see that it's exactly 70. Or if I look at the properties of this line, I can see that it's actually 70. Now I can do the same thing over on the arc. So what I'm going to do is come in here and I'm going to highlight this, and we're going to shift click there, and I can see that it's 76. So I want to extend this to let's say 77. So I'm going to click extend, and I'm going to come in here, and in this case I'm going to put 77 minus, because I want it to be a positive number. If you did it the other way, you just got to get rid of the negative sign. So I'm going to extend that, and I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to pick the end of that line. It was extended. So now if I look at the properties of this object, you can see that it's exactly 77. Now this trick works in a couple other areas as well. If I was actually drawing a line string and I start, let's say here, and I want the distance, or the bearing, to be the bearing of this line, and I want the distance to be the distance of the arc, let's say, just as this example, if you right click and use the bearing distance command, it's asking me the reference point. The reference point is going to be my starting point here, but my bearing, I'm going to hold the shift key down and I'm going to grab the bearing from this line, and the distance, I'm going to hold the shift key down and I'm going to pick that line. So now I've just drawn that line at that bearing and that distance. Hope this tip is helpful. If you have other questions, contact your local SciTech dealer.